Welcome to WYCD Wicked, that stands for what you can do. Donald James X, good to see you. Doing an experimental stream at the moment. A while back, I announced this, and then I didn't do it. We have the ability to take calls and play video now. We're doing that through StreamYard. That means today is Peace Talks. If there is a piece you want to talk about with your old pal Jake, come on in. We'll talk about it. I'm going to get us started. First, just ate a chocolate donut. It was delicious. Just sharing that with you so you can share in my happiness. Still a little bit in the old mouth there. And so I'm still a little bit happy. Yeah. I'm going to talk about some pieces with you. Some things I saw or the audience has suggested. And I invite you all to do the same with me. I want a debate. I'm feeling frisky. I feel like particularly what I'm looking for is MAGA folks. Either you're wrong or I'm wrong about how the world works. And we have all human information just about available to us. So, yeah, it's open to my audience. We can talk about what you guys want to talk about. But, really what I want is MAGA folks to show up so we can get to the bottom of this. In a sane world, which this is not, what would happen is at the end of our conversation, either you or I would completely change our minds because we will have seen the arguments. There will have been a clear solution, a clear, correct person, and we'd have the maturity to change our mind when faced with new information. However, I suspect, MAGA folks, that that won't happen because I'll show you information that shows I'm clearly correct. You'll show me information that is clearly lies. I'll explain to you how they're lies, why they're lies. And you'll refuse to acknowledge that you're wrong. That's what I think is going to happen. I say this because I have watched how you all behave for the last 8 years. And truly, I don't think that anybody who's talking with MAGA folks is talking with people who have earnest beliefs. But I was on in the audience of another stream recently. Who was it? Who was it? It's folks. It's a stream my folks will recognize. Hannah Reloaded, and I expressed in her comments that I don't think MAGA folks truly believe the things that they say they believe. She came out against me. She full on, she jumped on that. She said, "Of course they do. Why would you not take them at their word?" And I want to believe she's correct here. MAGA folks, if you are watching, I want to believe that you're not lying to me, that you really are just misinformed. I want to believe that you are like this person in this sketch.
Stop! Take that! Stop! Stop! Son of a bitch! Stop! Stop! You son of a bitch!
Again, I'm going to watch this and give MAGA folks a chance to show up. That's what I'm doing. Hopefully, we'll give people a chance to show up. But MAGA folks, I want to believe you're Trevor Moore in this sketch, and you need complete information.
Take that!
Stop!
That!
Stop it! Ow! Stop!
Yeah!
Stop! Stop!
Hey, what are you doing, man?
Stop it!
I'm kicking the shit out of this guy.
Ow! Ow! Stop
Well,
it! Ow!
Stop it.
What?
Why are you kicking this guy?
Stop kicking
He
me!
killed my kids.
Really?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, my
Oh, that sucks, man.
Ow!
What a jerk.
Ow!
Take that.
Yeah.
And that. What's wrong with
Yeah.
you? Killing people's kids.
Kill my kids.
Take that.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. So how do you kill your kids anyway?
He's an executioner up at the state prison system.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, they were on death row.
Whoa. Stop. This is an officer of the law. We could get him in a lot of trouble. Here, I'm sorry, man. I didn't kick you.
Yes, you did. Get down on the ground, you son of a bitch.
Ow! Hey! Oh!
How do you like that, Apples? Kicking me for doing my job.
Yeah, making me assault an officer of the law.
Just because you're mad about your dead kids.
Yeah. Hey, what did his kids do anyway?
That's the best part. They didn't do a thing. I framed them.
Please,
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, pretty sweet, huh? An ingenious plan. And now I'm kicking their father. How do you like that, ghost children?
Whoa, dude, stop. You're a bad guy. I'm sorry, man. I didn't kick you.
Yeah, you did. Get down on the ground. Framing my kids.
I'm sorry, man. I had no idea. I thought you were just some sort of crazy enraged parent that was assaulting an officer of the law.
No. Framing my kids for a crime they didn't commit, and then make sure you're the one to pull the switch.
That's so crazy, man. Why would he go through all that effort just to mess with you?
Oh, he just wanted to hurt me because he found out that I'm the one who raped and murdered his wife 2 years ago.
Stop it.
Wait, are you being serious?
He took away my one true love.
Whoa. I'm sorry, man. I didn't kick you.
Yes, you did. Get down on the ground, you son of a bitch. He frowned upon our love because she was only 8 years
Oh,
old.
God.
What?
Oh, my
Hey,
God.
wait, you're
Oh
the
my
bad.
God,
You're
no.
both bad guys. Get down on the ground. Take that, you son of a bitch. Take that, you son of a bitch. Take that. Take that. Take that, you son of a bitch. Take that. Take that. Take that, you son of a bitch. Take that. And that. And that, you son of a bitch. Take that. And that. And that, you son of a bitch.
It was the year 1927. Hoover had just declared war on Cuba. A gallon of bread cost merely a shiny nickel, and a new day.
You get the idea. That's what I want to believe MAGA is. If you guys are interested, in joining Peace Talks, or pop in the link right there, and give me a moment while I pin this in YouTube. There we are. If you guys are interested in joining, use that link. We'll watch whatever you guys want to watch. If you want to watch the Tim Walz stream, as Donald James X was pointing out, Sean Fain from the UAW just spoke. That's exciting, but I'm in a debating mood. I hope y'all will come with something for us to disagree about, because I feel disagreeable, but I'm feeling impish. I enjoy a bit of debates. Isn't that right by you, Jake? Yes, it is. I was watching it earlier, not in person, sadly, but yeah, it is. It's happening. The actual event is like 15 minutes from where I live. Donald James, may the real Sean Fain please stand up. Please stand up. Indeed. To be frank, says the anti-corporatist, I just finished working and was watching a rally in Detroit. Oh, speaking of AC, now my phone's not on me. I just saw your text. I'm into showing that clip. I will perhaps try to show it in a bit. Let's look at that rally. Rally in Detroit. We're going to play it live. Why not? PBS.
I know Donald Trump's type.
Oh, we're hearing the I know Donald Trump
I've been
type.
dealing with them my whole career. For example, as Attorney General of California, I took on one of the country's largest for-profit colleges that scammed students. Well, Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. You remember that?
It's good that she's hitting this a lot. It's good that she's sticking with the "I know Donald Trump's" type
As a
line.
prosecutor,
That's
I
important for
specialize in
normies to
cases
hear.
of sexual abuse. Well, Donald Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse. As Attorney General,
Facts.
I held the big Wall Street banks accountable for fraud.
Oh, DJX, Midas Touch
Well,
just gifted you a
Donald
membership.
Trump
That's awesome.
was just found guilty of fraud.
Mr. G,
34
good to see
counts to be exact.
Mercy me. I'm gonna watch this and hopefully some MAGA
Hold
type
on.
show up.
Hold on. You know what? Here,
Good.
Hold on.
Good
Here's the
job,
thing.
Kamala.
The courts are going to handle that. We're going to beat them in November.
Have you noticed that every time the crowd starts chanting "lock them
We'll
up,"
beat 'em in
they
November.
don't
We'll
participate?
handle that.
The people on stage tamp it down and say, "Don't do
But
that."
all that to say, in this campaign,
'Cause
I
they are
proudly
decent human
put
beings.
my record against his any day of the week. Any day of the week. But make no mistake, our campaign, this campaign,
Want to see
is
something real
not
quick?
just about us versus Donald Trump. It's bigger than that. It is about two very different visions for the future of our nation.
Yeah, it still plays if I
One
do that.
ours
All right, cool.
Focused
Cool.
on the future, and the other focused on the past.
I like this.
And Michigan,
All right,
we-
gang, I'm going
we
until
here fight for the future.
I'm going
We
until
fight for the future.
about 9:30.
We fight for a future where every worker has the freedom to join a union, where every senior can retire with dignity, a future with affordable housing, affordable child care, affordable health care, and paid leave. A future where we build a broad-based economy where every American has an opportunity to own a home, to start a business, and to build wealth. And understand, in this fight, we are joyful warriors. Because while fighting for a brighter future may take hard work, we all here know hard work is good work. Hard work is good work. We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families, so they have a chance, not just to get by, but to get ahead. Because look, while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. When I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, it will be my day one priority to fight to bring down prices, to take on the big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging, take on corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families, to take on big pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans. That is the work we will do together. And all of this to say, unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first. Because Coach Walls and I know the middle class built this great country of ours. And when the middle class is strong, America is strong. And look, as we move our nation forward,
Really good to hear
Donald
talking
Trump
about
intends
fixing
to take our nation
medication
backward.
prices.
Just look at his Project 2025 agenda. Project 2025.
Kamala. Good. She's got the momentum, man. I'm glad to see it. I'm coconut pilled. I'm walnut pilled.
And please do check out Project 2025. Because I'm telling
Coca
you,
Walled.
it is a plan. It is a plan to
I've
weaken
walnutted all over this
America's
election.
middle class. Project 2025. If
Glad
he
she's
is
spreading the
elected,
message, man. She's hitting all the points you need to. People do need to be aware of Project 2025.
It's all good.
She's never felt this kind of energy before. Not in any other campaign she's been running. She's loving this, and she deserves to. She's made the
I'm
right
here
decision
'cause
so
we
far.
believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now.
Tom
I am
Trask,
speaking
finally
now.
an adult. Yeah. Mr. G, this election is going to be a.
So Project 2025.
Let's read that.
Look,
This
if
election
he
is
is
going to be
elected,
a vote
Donald
suppression
Trump
bacchanalia
intends to
from
give
Greg
tax
Palast.
breaks to billionaires and big
There's a whole new
corporations.
fight we have. We
He
must
intends to
check
cut
our
Social
voter
Security
registration.
and
Yes.
Medicare.
The Mike's
He
Dead show.
intends to surrender our fight
She is
against
getting
the
good.
climate crisis,
Yeah.
and he intends to
Yeah.
end the Affordable Care Act.
She's got.
You know what? If you want Donald Trump
She's good
to win,
at.
then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
She's got the chops for this. Not a lot of folks do. Ooh, look at her going after a heckler in the way I like to. Not saying beat this person up, do my dirty work for me. She's saying, hey, mister, I'm talking. Good. Although that's that kind of kick him out. Is it? I think so. But yeah, this crowd is pretty cringe with their chanting. Like they thank Joe Biden incessantly. Yeah, they're.
We're not going back.
I do want to stress this about Midwestern crowds, though. I tried to talk about this during the last time people were in Detroit as
And
well.
we're not going back because we know what that would look like. And again, understand.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Everybody
intends
in
to
this
end the
crowd
Affordable Care Act.
is used
And
to
take
either
us back
one of two
to a
things.
time when
They're used to
insurance
either
companies had the power to deny
sports
people with
events
pre-existing
with
conditions.
crowds this size
We all remember
that
what
are,
that looked like.
you know, you're
And we're
supposed
not
to
going
yell.
back.
Your
We're
participation
not
is
going
required.
back.
Or
Our fight
like,
is a fight for the future,
stand-up
and it
comedy
is a fight for
in
freedom.
little tiny clubs where there's like 50 people in the whole room. In which case, it's very awkward if you're
Across
not.
our nation, we are
participating
witnessing
for this,
a
you know,
full-on
performer.
attack
So,
on hard-fought, hard-won
we don't-
fundamental freedoms and rights, and
If
we
you're from
will not
Milwaukee,
stand
if
for
you're
it.
from, I don't know, Oxford, Michigan, and you find yourself in a crowd like
Attacks
this, it's
on the
just
freedom to vote.
hard.
Attacks
It's hard
on
to
the
understand
freedom
how
be
you're
safe
supposed to
from gun
participate. This is
violence.
not Washington,
The
D.C.,
freedom to breathe
where people
clean
give
air and drink
political
clean
speeches in
water.
front of huge crowds all the time.
The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. And the freedom of a woman to make decisions about
See that
her
lady in the
own
back
body
right
and
now?
not have her
That's
government
right.
tell her
That's
what to
right.
do.
By the way, I'm all for it. I'm glad we got the feeling. But like, I don't know. It's just a Midwest thing. It's a Midwest thing to talk while the crowd is
Generations.
talking.
Generations of Americans
Or maybe that's everywhere, and
before us
I only notice it
led
because
the
I'm from
fight
the
for
Midwest.
freedom.
I don't know.
Now the baton is in our hands.
Elaine, good evening,
each
everyone.
and
Good evening to
every
you.
One of us. So we who
I say
believe
as the
in the
performer is
sacred
talking.
freedom to vote will finally pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
We who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass an assault weapons ban, universal background checks, and red
Yes,
flag
ma'am.
laws. We who believe in the freedom to organize will pass the PRO Act and put an end to union busting once and for all. And we who believe in reproductive freedom will fight for a woman's right to choose. Remembering what Donald Trump did to pick 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would take away this freedom, and they did as he intended.
Yep.
We who are paying attention to
Get
the
'em,
fact
Harris.
that now over 20 states in our country have a Trump abortion
If y'all are
ban,
just
many
joining,
with
if you're
no
part of the normal
exceptions,
wicked audience,
even for rape and incest. And we all know if he wins, he would sign a national abortion ban to outlaw
True.
abortion in every state, and that would include the great state of Michigan.
now listen,
But we're not going back.
pulling it down for a moment so I can give you the lowdown. And there's more chanting. God damn, guys. I mean, it's all right. If you're just joining, what I'm doing is fishing right now. I'm putting a line in the water.
There's a thing about who
I
we
want to
are
get
that
some
is
MAGA
different
folks on
from
here.
the
We got
folks on the other side.
a couple hours. We got
We trust women to know
about an
what
hour
is in their
45
best interest and
until
not
I'm going
have
to
their
jump over to
government
left past 10.
telling them what to do.
I want to debate with some MAGA types.
And when I am president of the United
Because I'm of the
States,
belief,
Congress
I'm of the
passes a
belief
bill
that
to
eventually
restore
we will get
reproductive
through.
freedom,
And I'm of the
I
belief
will
that
sign it into law.
we worry so much about convincing people on the margins. But is that the problem? That is a problem, but is that the main concern? No, the main concern is that MAGA and everybody else live in 2 different realities. We got to address that. We got to cut the cancer out first and foremost,
We got to remember.
and then we can deal with all the side effects that we've had to deal with.
And what he was about in 16 and in
Also,
20. But
I think
there's
Kamala
also
Harris is
something
fine
else
to
that has
say
happened recently.
we all know what Trump's going to do, because Trump has
Prioritize
demonstrated
our
that
minds
what he
about
says
things
out loud
going
is
on.
rarely what he ends up
Last
doing.
month,
I think that's
the
just being
United States
realistic.
Supreme Court basically just told the former president, who has been convicted of fraud, that going forward, he will be immune no matter what he does in the White House.
True.
But think about that. Think about that. Think about what that means. Think about what that means.
I don't think
Man has
America
openly
appreciates the
vowed, if
danger we're in
reelected, that
currently.
he will be a dictator on day one.
Anybody who gets the presidency could just choose to be a dictator. We
Think
know
about
Trump
what
will,
that
and we're
means.
lucky Biden
When he
hasn't.
said that he will even, quote, terminate the Constitution of the United States.
Dude wants to get rid of the Constitution. You sure you want to
But
vote
let
for this,
us be
Republicans?
very clear. Someone
Not this
who
nice lady?
suggests we should
Come on.
terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again
Hey, Miss Jen.
stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never
A lot of the
again.
way Harris talks is reminiscent of the church call and response pattern. Trump is more of the over-the-hill
Vote.
lounge act that just prattles with no real direction. True.
Vote.
Vote, 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 vote.
That's
vote,
right.
Vote.
So here's the thing, to your point.
Love it.
When it comes down to all of the things that are important about this, I think the most important thing that I love you back. And listen, one of the things that I know brings us all out today and always is we love our country. We love our country. We love our country. And I do believe it is the highest form of patriotism to
Put up a
fight
vertical
for the
stream and put
ideals of our country.
Trump in the title.
That
Maggots
is
will come
how
and grow.
we preserve the promise of America. After all, the promise of America, think about it, is what
Maybe.
makes it possible for Tim
Maybe,
Walz
but I
and
I don't want
me
to trick
to
anybody.
be together
This
on
is what it
stage
is.
today.
Signs on the door.
Think
They've
about
come
it.
by before, and to my dishonor, I've just chased them out.
Think about that. 2 middle-class kids, one a daughter of Oakland,
I've thought about it
California,
again. I think the right thing to do is
who was
try to
raised
talk to
by
these
a
people.
working mother.
Side note, please be polite.
I had
They
a
show
summer
up.
job at McDonald's.
I'm not going to ask you, you know,
The other,
to
a
accept
son
insults.
of the Nebraska Plains,
and mods if
grew
they
up
start
working
insulting people in
on
the
a
chat or
farm.
whatever, kick them. But
only in America.
so
America.
long as they're approaching this
Is
earnestly.
it possible for
We're-
them
we're gonna be
together
ladies and
to
gentlemen.
make it all the way to the White House? Only
Not
in
here yet.
America.
But maybe they'll show up.
Only
If
in
not, we'll just watch
America.
some of this stuff, and you'll hear a lefty say lefty stuff uncontested. Kind of like
So
how
we
this
are running
campaign's
this
going.
campaign on behalf of all Americans, from red states to blue states, from the heartland to the coast. And when elected, I promise you we will govern on behalf of all Americans.
Now, that's the
Promise
fundamental
that.
difference between Republicans and Democrats, and something I like about Democrats. Yeah,
So I'll close with this.
their
Michigan,
policies are going to
ultimately, in
help
this
us all,
election,
including the Republicans.
we each face a question. We
It's part of
each
why it's so
face a
frustrating.
question. What kind of country
we gotta deal with this
do we want
nonsense.
to live in? A country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law, or a country of chaos, fear, and hate? And the beauty of our democracy, we each
Weird.
have the power to answer that question. We each have the power to answer that question. The power is with the people.
Oh, I like that. Yes.
So in the next 90 days, we need you to use your power.
Yep.
We need you to knock on some doors. We need you to register folks to vote. We need you to organize and energize and mobilize and make your voices heard. So Michigan, I ask you, are you ready to make your voices heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we believe in freedom?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we believe in opportunity?
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
we believe in the promise of America?
Yes, ma'am.
And are we ready to fight for it?
Yes, Madam
And
President.
when we fight, we
We
win.
win.
God bless you and God bless you.
Love it. Hell of a candidate. Hell of a candidate. We got us a race here, folks. Amazing how much things have turned around in the last couple of weeks. You know, it's felt like we were on the darkest timeline for a while now. You know, it's felt like let's get that beautiful shot of those two. Oh, hey, Debbie Stabenow. I listened to her speaking earlier. Hey, that's Garland Gilchrist, by the way. Lieutenant Governor. Gretchen Whitmer's in the middle there. Or next to Walz. Remember what I told you about Slender Man? He's the tallest SOB. He's like Gretchen Whitmer's not small. Tim Walz is not a short guy. Garland Gilchrist, I think he's 6'7". He's ridiculously tall. Anywho. And he's a giant dork, too. I love him. I truly love him. He is a big old nerd. It's part of why I do love him. It's felt like we were in the darkest possible timeline for like the last 8 years, and you can just pinpoint the moments where it happened. You know, Hillary losing to Trump, et cetera. Bernie losing to Biden in the primaries. Thomas Crooks actually feels like another change. It feels like we could have had, you know, Trump actually get hit with one of those bullets, as opposed to it missing him and some debris hitting him, which is what I believe happened. And then some DeSantis-like figure rising up in his place and getting carried into office against Joe Biden, refusing to drop out. felt like things could have gotten a lot darker, but they didn't. The bullet went this way instead of that. Biden did the right thing, something I think we're going to have to thank him for, even if there's other things that we're going to have to not thank him for in the history books. But he did the right thing in regards to this race, and he dropped out. He gave us Kamala Harris. She's been doing great. Kamala Harris did the right thing. She looked to the future. It's Harris Walz. It's not Harris Shapiro. It's not Harris, other centrist Democrat that has no interest in helping folks. I mean, Walz is a centrist Democrat, but he's actually open to listening to his constituents, to listening to his daughters, to respecting his base. By the way, this is what a crowd looks like, in case you were wondering. I'm pretty sure, by the way, are they at Selfridge? Was I wrong about where they are? If they're at Selfridge, they're not 15 minutes from me, and I apologize. Harris, Walz, Detroit, speech, location. Campaign stop Wednesday and Thursday. This is from our friends at WXYZ, Channel 7. The location isn't being disclosed. Well, it has been. Oh, Detroit Metro Airport. Okay. You know, even if I mistook where I picked up my brother, I think that hangar is familiar. I'm pretty sure that is the hangar I was standing in about 15 years ago when my brother, 15? God, time blends. When my brother returned from overseas. He was in Iraq and then Afghanistan. And when his tour was over, I'm pretty sure that's the hangar I was standing in when the family welcomed him home. That or hangars are just quite similar. I want to thank PBS for carrying this. It's not nothing to go set up a camera and a broadcasting unit attached to the camera, and to pay a cameraman to go and film this thing. Thank you, PBS, for doing that so we can all watch it. All right. Well, I do 6'4". Hey, Wicked Foxy Dragon, good to see you. How tall is Garland Gilchrist? Yeah, 6'8". He's 6'8". Karma La is coming to Trump-O, the loser clown. The walls are closing in. Groove Dragon, if you're not a father, your wife just became pregnant, because that's the most father-sounding series of puns I've ever heard. TYT says Teddy Cool with an excellent thumbnail, by the way. Tron rocks. TYT is selling balls to the walls shirts. I like it. Another one from DJX. TYT has a cool balls to the walls shirt that they came out with, but I don't really want to give TYT any money. Fair enough. Speaking of, if you want to give me money, do it. I don't know. I just recognize that I'm supposed to pitch for money. Then don't do it. Actually, you know what? It don't matter. None of this matters. What we're trying to do right now, Foxy, you said, what did I miss? The Harris Walz speech in Detroit. Detroit Metropolitan Airport, but still. Bob, but I'm fishing right now. I'm trying to get Trumpists, MAGA folks, to come debate me on whatever they'd like. to have a back and forth conversation, frankly, about whether what we believe is true or not. That's all I'm here for. I'll say y'all can join me as well. Y'all can. This is Peace Talks. If you want to watch something together, we can. It's very much just like any other call-in show, but I ask you to call in with a YouTube clip, hopefully under 10 minutes, that you want to watch together. Bob Carmody. She didn't even say, look at all that fake news. Ooh, I'm going to mute that. I'll unmute it. She didn't even say, look at all the fake news. Yeah. She was, it's almost as though she had things to talk about that mattered. No fear of the news reporting who she is, honestly. All right, that's enough of that. I'm muting it. Wicked Foxy Dragon, I'm 4'11". Short is beautiful. Just like big is beautiful. Well, it's 4'11". Yeah, under 5. That's short. But short is beautiful. Nothing wrong with that. I was just talking about how Garland Gilchrist is essentially Gumby, the lieutenant governor. He's a very tall, very skinny dork. And I adore him. And I hope he's governor next. I hope Gretchen Whitmer goes on to be like Secretary of State or something for the whole country. And I hope that Garland Gilchrist is the next governor. If not Gilchrist, I would like Michigan's Secretary of State to be governor, Jocelyn Benson. And by the way, I would like I want to try to pitch you guys on this now. I want our next Attorney General of the United States to be Dana Nessel. She's excellent. She cares about justice. She's got chutzpah. Dana Nessel. She's the reason that our governor was not kidnapped by the Wolverine Watchmen. She's the reason that the Trump fake electors are actually seeing some consequences, are actually being taken into a court of law. Because, well, other attorney generals around the country, including Georgia, chose to do nothing. Dana Nessel actually listened to her constituents, cited demand from her constituents, and went after the fake electors. Now imagine if she was in charge of the DOJ for the United States of America. Imagine if we actually had somebody with an interest in justice in charge. Think about all the downstream effects that'll have. Think about all the promotions that are going to happen. All the people who were lefties, miraculously, lefties in the DOJ, that would have gotten passed up because somebody like Merrick Garland would be like, they're too political. They're willing to go after Republicans. That's too political. The only non-political thing you can do is pretend like Republicans never commit crimes. And when you see them commit a crime in front of you, pretend like you didn't see it. And when the media says you just saw them commit a crime right in front of you, pretend like it's not a crime. That's how you be non-political, is you bow to politics. You be a complete... Get Dana Nessel in there to replace him. When Kamala Harris gets elected, if and when, we're going to have an opportunity for a non-dramatic change of attorney generals. Because it's not unusual for a new president to select a new attorney general. Dana Nessel is who I pitch to you. She's like Fani Willis in terms of caring about justice, but she has experience on the state level. Groove Dragon. LOL. Fake news is what got Trumpo, the loser clown, into office. I'm going to mute this. I do apologize. Fake news is what got Trumpo, the loser clown, into office. Fake news provided by the clown's pecker, accurate, National Enquirer, and that dude that gave him the fake reality show. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was, yeah, it was pretending to be reality, but you're right. It was not reality. It was, that stuff was scripted on The Apprentice. Alex Jones said that the FBI or the FED tried to kidnap, or the Fed tried to kidnap Gretch. Yeah, anybody who watches Alex Jones, you should criticize for watching Alex Jones. You should demand an explanation. As in, that better have been accidentally on your phone just now and not something you're subscribed to. Oh, look, I see that you're subscribed to that. Yeah, unsubscribe this instant. You watch Alex Jones, unsubscribe immediately. Or get the out of my face. Alex Jones, Fox News, OAN, these are all places that are known liars, and they've gotten people killed. Now I'll say this, OAN is perhaps unknown enough that it's understandable. Fox News got people killed. Fox News spread vaccine misinformation. People died. Fox News knowingly spread lies about election integrity. People died. Alex Jones, though. Alex Jones did all of the above, and he harassed the families of dead kids. In their grief, he got his moron during their grief, he got his audience believing, and he knew that he was wrong. He got his audience believing that kids didn't really die. It's all a psyop designed to make unregulated guns look bad. Republicans look bad. That's what he said. And they harassed those parents who had just buried their children. So these people, if you can call them that, voted for laws that put guns in the hands of mass killers. One of those mass killers massacred a bunch of children in Sandy Hook. Then these same people who watch Alex Jones called up those grieving mothers and fathers, and they insulted them. They threatened them. They made their lives harder. After already killing their children, they then harassed them. If you have somebody that's watching Alex Jones, you need to hold them morally accountable for what they're doing. If nothing else, even if they just started watching recently. And so you can't say that they're responsible for the harm Alex Jones has done leading up to this moment. But they just started recently. Want to be clear, if they were watching during the Sandy Hook stuff, they're responsible for that. And they should apologize to you and anybody else that finds out about it. But if they just started watching recently, they are responsible for giving money to somebody who is known to be a stochastic terrorist, for somebody who is known to be a liar, for somebody who is known to be doing active evil in the world. In other words, they're siding with the enemy. And it's not enough that they say, oh, I just think it's funny. Oh, I just watch it. I don't believe all of it. I just watch it for fun, but I'm not really a believer. You're a contributor. You support evil. You are a horrible person and need to reassess your morals. Now, it's possible that you just weren't thinking about the consequences of your actions, but now you know. I just told you. Unsubscribe and take a hard look at yourself and how low of a person you had to be interested in whatever Alex Jones had to sell in the first place. Very low is the answer. About as low as it's possible for a human being to get. You can be a better person tomorrow. You can be a better person in 30 seconds. You can be a better person right now. You can start being a better person at any time. But if you watch Alex Jones, and if you know somebody that watches Alex Jones, you're not a good person right now. And they at least deserve the courtesy of being informed of that fact. Tell that to them. If it's not obvious, I'm in a fighting mood. I'm feeling scrappy. I'm feeling like talking to some of these people. So come on up. Come debate me. You disagree with me about Alex Jones? By all means. Link is pinned in the comments. Let's chit chat. Tell me why I'm wrong. Because either you're wrong and Alex Jones does get people killed and is a boil on the ass of society, or I'm wrong and I'm carrying around all this anger for no reason. If that's the case, do me a favor. Relieve me of this anger. Please. Make my life better. And explain to me how I'm wrong. Either you will stop doing the thing that's making me angry, or you'll explain to me why I don't need to be angry about it. Either way, I don't have to be angry after our conversation. So, chamauna, as Michael Jackson would say, chamauna. However, if you are a lefty already, maybe there's something else we can disagree about. I would love that too. Maybe you like one kind of healthcare, I like another. Maybe there's some such thing. If you feel like it, use the link in the description and we will happily have a debate. Sorry, I wandered off, says the anti-corporatist. That's okay. It happens, brother. No, this is not a cult. You guys can come and go as you please. I'll tell you. You're even welcome to leave if I'm just boring you. It's my job to be entertaining to y'all. All right. I'm going to play some stuff for us that I think might be interesting. Ooh, that's right. I've got an F these people moment. All right. I might play something from the Bulwark. Nah, yeah, I'm feeling fighty. I'll play an F these people moment.
Seen in his lifetime, has actively.
This is the Bulwark, which I recently had to unsubscribe from to keep my sanity. Sarah Longwell talking. Here's what annoys me. I notice that corporate Democrats do the same thing that Republicans do, which is when they arrive at something that they know people are going to disagree with, or rather when they arrive at something that they know doesn't have the facts to back it up, instead of changing their mind to what the facts would dictate, they lie about what the reality of the situation is. My only notes, if you're a member, then you will have access to my notes. You will see that the link before this, the only notes I left for myself, helpfully, was the phrase F these people. And then the link. I think that is why I typed that. Let's find
For
out.
the left was extremely painful for them. And
One
it
more
feels
time.
like
Wait a minute.
the
on this. It's something I not want for progressive readers on the triad. And people are like, they don't want Shapiro. The people on the left do not want Shapiro.
Okay, that's accurate. This was before the VP decision was decided. That's accurate. People on the left do not want Shapiro. Let's find out if they pretend like it's for any reason other than the fact that he is a person with terrible policies. Let's find out. I don't think that's it. I think they're going to lie to you about why that is instead of having an earnest conversation.
And he seems to be the only person they do not want. Like they've
Not so. I was not a fan of the astronaut. Who is it? I don't even remember his name now. Mike. F me. Guys, who was the astronaut that was in the running? I wasn't a fan of his. Because they were too corporate for my tastes. And most importantly, they weren't honest about Israel. They kept pretending like Israel was is fighting a holy war, a justified war, a war that is not in fact just a massacre of civilians. That's my issue. Now you can disagree with me on that. In fact, there's people watching that do disagree with me on that. That's fine. But don't lie about it. I've been very clear in why I believe what I believe. So don't pretend like, oh, Shapiro's the only guy they seem to not like. By the way, Shapiro picked the fight. If we're talking about who doesn't like who. Shapiro picked this fight with the left. Shapiro hates the left. Shapiro said of people protesting Netanyahu's massacring of Palestinian civilians. No defense for Hamas. I genuinely hope all those motherfuckers wind up in a prison cell. Hamas. It's as easy for me to say that as it is to say the January Sixers. But he said the people protesting Netanyahu's government were akin to the KKK. He walked it back. He did walk it back. Let's give credit where it's due. Shapiro was willing to walk that back, but he had to walk it back because he said it in the first place. You know who didn't say something like that? Tim Walz, because he's a decent human being. All right, let's get to it.
They've fixated on him.
This big man's not even who I care about. It's Sarah Longwell.
I wonder why you think that is. I have a theory. I have a set of theories. I'm
Sarah
writing about
Longwell
this
is going to
today.
probably
I'll finish it after we talk. Maybe you'll say something that I'll steal. But what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest reason is that the split over Palestine, Israel for the left was extremely painful for them. And it feels like
she's about to make me furious. So before we get there, let me give her credit. That's correct. It didn't have to be painful. Centrists, corporate Democrats made it painful. You know, Netanyahu's massacring babies. Netanyahu's killing innocent people. She is rah-rahing that nonsense. Now, we could pretend like she wants. We could pretend like something else is happening. Like, oh, well, it's complicated. It's not complicated. If you need to kill 400 civilians for every one member of Hamas that you get, you need a different strategy. It's just that simple. They're not picking a different strategy because Netanyahu's goal is not to get Hamas. And the fact that this knucklehead right here lived through 2003 through 2023 and doesn't understand how that hustle works is a problem. All right, why do you think, Sarah Longwell, why do you think there's that split?
For the left was extremely painful for them. And it feels like they've sewn that up, and it's not like the liability that it was 2 months ago.
With Tim Walz.
And I think they don't want to reopen that wound. And they are working.
All right, credit. I'm sorry I hollered at her because I'm trying to give her credit. Credit, yes. Biden was for that. the massacre of civilians, pretending like that's not what's happening, even though we can see it. It's the age of the internet. That is exactly what's happening. Kamala is an unknown. She appears not to be for it. We truly cannot know until she is president, and her selection of VP says a lot about where she's going. Shapiro has pretended as though being anti-Netanyahu government is the same thing as being anti-Semitic. That is a lie. He knows it, as he says it. To suggest so insults our intelligence and also calls us unfairly anti-Semites. That guy.
Worried that Josh Shapiro, not just because he's Jewish, but because he has actively.
That's why. And that's the shit that's the stuff that cheeses me. And they're worried that Shapiro, not just because he's Jewish, a little bit because he's Jewish. A little bit. That's why they're a little bit evil, the left. A little bit because he's Jewish. But not just because he's Jewish, also for some other reasons. Sarah Longwell, in all seriousness, let me just say this for a second. In all seriousness, Sarah Longwell, go fuck yourself. All right.
Condemned the protesters at times. And because he, even though he said Netanyahu's like the worst leader that he's seen in his lifetime.
So that's what I'm talking about. She's trying to manipulate right now rather than having an earnest discussion. She says not just because he's Jewish, which could be interpreted as meaning they're not saying this just because he's Jewish. That would be silly and small of them, and that's not them. Or it could be interpreted as saying not only because he's Jewish are they saying this. They are saying it because he's Jewish, but they're also saying it for these other reasons. And she knows that she's doing that. How do I know she knows that she's doing that? Because she then goes on to sweep his comments under the rug. And because he made some comments about protesters or whatever. Well, shit. What comments were those? You compared him to the KKK. You know that's a big deal. You know that doesn't sound good. You chose to downplay it. You're lying to your audience. You are painting an inaccurate picture for your audience. Sarah Longwell, go fuck yourself. Genuinely, and from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself. There's no place for you here. The left operates in facts. You are much more comfortable as a Republican. I know you miss the old Republican Party where you got to pretend like you weren't a racist, even though you would back up the most racist things that one could possibly fathom without the actual use of the N-word. Because it used to be just a little bit more subtle. And you miss that dearly. You miss advocating for evil. I know. Good news. The Democratic Party will welcome you when it's the corporate Dems versus the progressive Dems. Then the Democratic Party will welcome you. In the meantime, I don't appreciate your presence here. I don't like that we're hanging out in the same circles. I don't think you're of value.
Israel, even though he said that, I think they feel like he codes more pro-Israel in part.
Go on, finish saying it, you evil. See you next
because
Tuesday.
He's Jewish.
He codes. I don't have any facts. I think, based on my being a complete, I think that he codes Jewish. They don't like that he codes quite so Jewish. These people that adore fill in the blank with all these laws, policies that protect everybody equally. These people that go out of their way to be welcoming to all communities. I'm choosing I'm choosing to say they have an evil reason for a logical decision. One of my guilty pleasures is listening to corporate Democrats and former neocons who have jumped ship and are now doing podcasts about how awful Trump is. Occasionally, it raises the bile in my throat because I see some nonsense like this. And Sarah Longwell, for me, God, I hope I'm getting that name right because I said it about a billion times. Let me just. I don't even see. They don't even write her name in this. All right, fair enough. Occasionally, these folks will just infuriate me to the point where I question ever having subscribed to such a thing, ever having listened to them. Here's an example of some centrists that are a little bit nice.
Welcome to Pod Save America.
Pod Save America. Again, they're corporate Dems, but I think these are of a nicer variety. Environmental Coffee House. Who is she? Good to see you, Sandy. She's a I don't want to get her credentials wrong. My understanding is she is a former political strategist who worked with Republicans for a long time. Graduated. She worked with a Republican lobbyist. Worked at Berman and Company, a lobbying firm for Republicans. Right up, she was a Republican operative, I guess, up until 2019. At which point, she did what a lot of people who enjoyed harming others within a democracy did, which is joined up with the Democrats. She didn't want to harm others from a dictatorship. She didn't want to do that because her job would have been out the window. Her job was to manipulate people within a democracy. And B, there's less control. There's less control that she would have had over our lives. It's not a healthy place for her to fuck people over from. Now, you might be saying, Jake, you're just making assumptions here. Yeah, because so did she. Because fuck her. I don't like her. You know what? To walk me off the ledge, let me bring up my old friend, Donald James X. How are you?
What's up? How you doing, Jay?
Hey, man. Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It's good to see you. I love your background.
Do you notice what the background is?
Yes.
Take a guess.
Celebrate good times today. Come on.
Exactly. You got it.
All right.
You're a
Here's the
Okay.
deal. I will do that tonight. I'll do it tonight.
Okay.
I'm doing a marathon filming session anyway. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry.
Just send me a small clip or something so I can insert it into the video that I made. And
All right.
I got myself dancing in it. I'm just looking maybe for a few other people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be fun. All right. I shall. It will happen. I will make it so.
Okay, but I do have a.
What's up?
Sorry, I do have a debate.
Let's do it.
I do have a debate argument with you, and
hit me.
Why can't I don't know if that should be saying so. Yeah, I want to argue against your tie. Why is it so boring?
What boring? Look, it's sometimes understated is the way to go. I like that it matches the suit. I like the unicolor look. I think there's a flashy background, and so it's necessary to dull down the foreground a little bit, at least make not as much information leaping out at the audience.
Nothing more like funky, like a funky tie, like I don't know, a tie that spins, a bow tie that spins, something.
my friend, do I have such things? I have ties that defy dimensions.
Well, what's up? Where?
Look, just because I've got it in the, I've got it on hand does not mean that I am obligated to.
No, it's your show.
Hold on, I'm about to blow your mind to outer space. Bada boom.
Okay.
You see this, y'all? I mean, this is.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
I have ties that defy dimensions. But I don't always use them.
You're just waiting for the perfect time to present it.
Oh yeah, there's a bag of tricks. You got to leave a few of them in there. I don't need to go angry debate all the time.
I did have an actual debate though. But go ahead.
Let's do it. Let's see if there's something we can disagree on, so we can have some fun with it.
All right. Well, here's what I think. I mean, it seems like everybody just blames AIPAC all the time, right? Like AIPAC did it again, and God dang AIPAC. They just keep winning, and we keep blaming them, right?
Yeah.
But I'm on John from San Antonio. I'm more on his side when he tries to explain. Look, man, there's something with the voters. Why are the voters falling and letting AIPAC buy their vote? You know what I mean?
You're right, and Foxy's right. I'm gonna debate you on this just because I'm in a fighting mood. But let me undermine everything I say after this by acknowledging up front. You're right. What AIPAC's doing shouldn't work. It should not work. They essentially dump millions of. Just for those who aren't aware, AIPAC if you're not aware, is a group that lobbies for Israel's interests, but not just for Israel's interests. Specifically, they lobby for the Netanyahu government's interests, and they're the only group for a lobbyist for a foreign country, which for some reason is allowed to interfere with U.S. elections. And the way they do that is they spend millions and millions of dollars to buy TV ad space, radio ad space, etc., in the districts of progressives and of Democrats to try to boot them out of office when they can.
Yeah, I know.
DJX here is saying, look, that sucks, but can we really blame AIPAC? Because what they're doing just shouldn't work. And while I acknowledge he's right, I will say this. Just because it shouldn't work doesn't mean they're allowed to have that free shot.
Right, but it's a foreign country, you know?
Yeah,
but
exactly. If this was China buying ads, people would be up in arms. I would argue that if this was France buying ads trying to sway our elections, people would be up in arms. However, we are a racist country, and so we have been told, hey, it's totally look, you treat Jews differently than you treat other folks. And that's an effed up thing to do. What happens if these people that say that suddenly get angry with the Jews? It should not be allowed.
That shouldn't be allowed. But I guess it's not. I'm not trying to have a debate with you, but I'm just presenting claims.
No, and I am, and unfairly.
Yeah, but here's another
you
claim.
Are right.
Here's another claim, and it's more okay. It's a question. All my claims. I'm not an expert in anything, so I kind of more like ask questions, right? How much? I wonder how much has October 7th kind of mobilized the pro-Israel voter electorally in some cities or states, right? I don't know the answer to that question, but it's a question that could be asked. How much did the pro-Israel vote defeat Bowman and Bush? You know, is it the money, or is it actual ideology of people going out and voting for that purpose?
I do think it was the money. I think it was the spending, because you would not, if you are for Israel, there's no inherent reason you should be against Bowman or Bush. They are not anti-Israel. They're definitely anti-war on Gaza, but that's if you relate it back to our most recent issue that was similar to this, that would be like somebody being against America's war on Iraq, but not anti-America in general.
All right, well, maybe I should say pro-genocide then, instead of saying
Yeah,
pro-Israel.
and I think the people that are pro-genocide are only that way because of an influence campaign from Netanyahu's government. I think the villain of this story is definitely Netanyahu himself, and the fact that, not unlike our dictator, he's trying to stay out of jail by staying in power.
Yeah, I agree. So it's like right now we're enthused because right now we feel like, well, maybe there's a chance we might actually save democracy, right?
Yeah,
but at the same time, progressives are losing. The progressive agenda is losing, and so I mean, we gained, and then we take a couple steps forward, and then we jump back.
Yeah, I might actually contest that a little bit. I'm not sure that progressives are losing necessarily. We've taken some losses. There's no doubt about it.
Well, AIPAC certainly is doing their thing.
Yes, but number one, progressives didn't even used to be enough of a threat that such a thing would be necessary. When I talk about being excited that AIPAC has spent $23 million so far against specifically progressives, I'm just thrilled that progressives are enough of a threat that it takes $23 million to attack them. That's a good sign in the long term. In the short term, yeah, it sucks that we lost those 2 seats, but we also just gained a major head nod in the form of the vice presidential candidate. That was the preferred candidate of progressives. We're making strides. We're closing the Overton window, as they say. We're making the progressive ideas be part of the Democratic Party again. I think those are worthy of note, even though it sucks to lose Bowman and Bush.
Okay, I agree with that. So the final question that comes up in my head is, but even though, let's assume Kamala and Walz do get elected, right? But with losing all those progressives that were pro-Palestine, how can we push them to go further left on the issue? Because we lost them.
Yeah. Fair question. I think tedious conversation. I think but the good news is
I'm just pointing it out. I'm just asking questions.
No. I mean, I think that's the way we do it. I think through long conversations. But I think this is also a group which is open to long conversations. I think literally, debate forums where friends get together and talk about politics. I think that's how it's going to happen. I think if people were talked out of believing that Palestinians have rights, that means they believe they have rights in the first place, and you can talk them back into it. And I also think they're open to these ideas. They're just getting bad information right now.
I agree with that. So it's like the last question is, what can we do about it? What can we do?
Well, when it comes to talking to progressives who have gone against the Palestinians all of a sudden, I think just have conversations. It's going to be a rare thing, but when you come across them, have the conversation. When you have somebody who wasn't progressive, who is against Palestinians, I think step one, remind the person that you're talking to that you do not have anything against civilians, be they Palestinian or Israeli. And then ask them what ratio of innocent civilians dead to military targets dead is acceptable. And whatever number they come up with, I bet it's going to be less than 100 to 1, and that's how they're currently operating in Palestine right now.
All right. I mean, I agree.
And if it's more than 100-1, then you have to say, why is it okay in your mind? In a world where sniper rifles exist, why is it okay to be that inaccurate with how you fight a war?
Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, just I want to just tell the truth. Just say if you're pro genocide, just say you want them exiled, you want them out, and just tell the truth instead of don't.
And we can even put the pressure on both sides here. Like, so, all right, you want them exiled, you don't think they have rights. Okay, where do they go? Are you saying this country should take them? Oh, you're not. So should they just walk into the sea and drown? Or should we just exterminate all Palestinians? Is that, like, let's get right to the heart of the matter. If they're not welcome in the place that they were born, and you don't want to take them, what country is supposed to take them? That's the question to have. You're right. I think you're exactly right.
So far as go where? To Egypt? I don't think. I mean, I don't know. But anyways.
And then what happens? What happens when Israel wants Egypt's land? Then where does everybody go? And you just keep following the logic until you're like, all right. So what you're saying is exterminate the Browns. Okay. The real question we need to have is, why don't you think brown people are human? That's the question we need to have. Yeah. My point is, you're right. You're right. Talk about the core issue. Why is it you think it's okay to force these people out of their homes at gunpoint? Because that's what is happening. We can disagree about whether or not that's okay. We can't disagree over whether or not that's happening because we're watching it happen.
Yeah, but Israel has all the power to do that at the moment. So
yeah,
they're pushing them out. They're pushing them out, and once they settle there, it's going to be hard to get that land back. You know what I mean? And so I think what should be right now is, look, if you don't want them there and you want them out, I think the goal though is total erasure of the Islamic ideology, in my opinion. That's what I think.
Oh yeah.
But it's also
genocide.
But it's also the land too. They're trying to drive them away.
You're correct. They're trying to drive them off the land. They're trying to destroy the things that the previous occupants had built on the land. They're trying to erase them completely.
So my point is that if that's what's going to happen and they're going to be exiled, then I say somebody owes them reparations so they can at least settle somewhere else and they can at least survive. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Worldwide reparations for Palestine.
I think Israel owes reparations, and also the United States, without question. And then everybody else who stood by probably should pitch in as well.
Right. Yeah. And so that's the only thing I think of. I think trying to give the land back and going back to old borders, I just don't think that's going to happen. You know what I mean? That's going to be too hard for them to retract. So at least give a nation reparations. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair points, man. Thank you for joining. I might actually wrap this up early. See you, my friend.
All right, bye.
Bye. Cool. Well, I'm going to put out the call for MAGA folks. If any MAGA folks want to... 913. Yeah. Okay, gang. I'm going to close this down and jump into the Left Past 10 stream. I was late. Yesterday was super embarrassing because I did a stream before the show and I didn't realize that I left some program on. I don't even know what it was. My computer. So now I either have to just keep everything running until the stream starts, which was my original plan, or do what I'm going to do right now, which is chicken out and restart my computer proper. Thank you for joining me. This has been WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. And here's a taste of the Jakes It.